Great. I think we've had like a great start today to this, and hopefully, I don't want to hold you guys back. I know we are running behind schedule by about 10-15 minutes, so we'll try to make this session as engaging as possible. Today we're going to be discussing approaches to stand out in a very crowded marketplace, right? Marketing has always been about connecting and engaging with your customers. I think traditionally and in the past, marketing heavily relied on a lot of print, commercials, billboards, and digital was not very prevalent, say back, like, say, about 10 years ago, right? But I think with the advent of the internet and with the advent of like hundreds of technologies come into being, brands and companies have to also sort of run parallelly with such technologies, right? The marketing spend today is close to about 23% on Martech in India, right? So it would be interesting to know from the panelists today, what are the kind of ad tech and Martech trends are they seeing in the market? Considering there are also like a lot of overlaps in these trends. So maybe Harshit, we could start with you.
Sure, thank you. So I think, first of all, so I run a brand called FREECULTR. So we are into premier and premium clothing with respect to focusing majorly on the innerwear segment. You rightly said about 23 odd percent. I think it's the bracket still. It's about. I mean, when it comes down to boil down to about average percentage, should be more than 23-24% for sure. Like for any digital brand, like we are 100% digital. We don't do offline as of now. For us, Martech is like using technology while doing marketing, and I think whether it's content or anything, like for us and all the D2C brands, like digital first brands, majorly people are focusing, or the founders and the teams are focusing to how to kind of get, let's say, close to the consumer, which is very important.
Right.
Because I think in offline, or like I would not say it's easy, but still as compared to the online business, it's a bit easy. You meet the consumer, you can hold the arm of the consumer. ये नहीं लेना तो ये ले लो, ये अच्छा है, 100 रुपए कम कर दूंगा, blah blah
Right,
blah. This is very
absolutely.
difficult in the online space, right? So that's we are very much dependent on using technology. Knowing the customer is very important, and that's how marketing technology helps build that. Kind of granular data is something which is very important. Going deep and deeper for understanding the consumer behavior, consumer
Right.
insights. Like he also asked a question कि क्या पता चलता है मार्कटेक से, insights पता चलते हैं, consumer के बारे में पता चलता है. That's something which is very important for any digital brand. Going deep and deeper, like especially in India these days, like people resist giving personal information, right? Now marketing helps, like technology helps, like you can send out WhatsApp, those kind of content which is not bugging the consumer and all, you know indirectly asking for a birth date, right? Indirectly asking for a let's say an alternate mobile number or something like that. That helps, because
Right.
the consumer gets so fed up if you ask any personal information.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like you rightly mentioned, right? Like it's important to collect insights and of course, like make sure that you're using data in a very in a manner that doesn't really, probably annoy the customer, because at the end of the day, customer is king, right? So just in terms of like certain compliances, right? Like for example, the GDPR compliance or like the new Data Protection Act that has come into being. How are you sort of, dealing with all of these new laws that have come into being? I mean, it is a bill right now and it is going to soon be an act. So do you have any sort of insights on how to navigate around these compliances and what to do best?
I think let it come first, but I think what I know when I talk to our peer founders and all, I think it will not, like even in as of now IT Act, for example, a WhatsApp message, like all of you do receive WhatsApp messages, right? But there is a mandate thing. It has to say at the bottom stop or not like stop, like that is something which is a mandate given as an IT act to the brands कि अगर आप वो stop नहीं डालोगे तो your number can be blocked, your WhatsApp number like marketing number can be blocked, like those things are still mandatory, which actually came like 2 years back or so when WhatsApp became a like became the major contribution towards getting consumer insights, getting in touch with the consumers and all. Like these small things will be there, but no, what I know is it will not impact at a like very large scale. It won't hamper anything. That's what I feel.
Right. Okay. Coming to you, Mr. Singh, just wanted to understand a little bit of the trends, the Martech and the AdTech trends that you are seeing in the market. And is there something specific that you have implemented in order to create this seamless experience, considering you are a digital-first company? Do you want to?
Sat Sri Akal to everyone. I think I gave a nice demo today about how a construction building falls or how a landslide happens. So I'm sorry for that, but yeah, being a D2C brand, I think I will join a lot of Harshit's points and my points out here. Is that at Singh Styled, what we have done is that we had focused more on the product, right? Where Singh Styled was actually is a brand which has happened after 400 years. Okay, so Sikhism is actually, so Singh Styled is basically we style Sardars. And for 400 years, we didn't have a brand which was actually taking care of our requirements, like the turbans, the beard care products. And I know my grandfather and my father used to use products which are glues and all to stick their beards and all. And then we didn't have anything. We had to just, whatever was available in the market, we were using that. So when Singh Styled happened and the products started moving out, the beauty is that we didn't have to heavily rely on marketing technology or doing a lot of analysis, because what we were doing is basically building products or logical products which was fulfilling the hunger, the need, right? My need was to get quality turbans. My need was to get quality or research-based products, which nobody was supplying, only Singh Styled was supplying, right? And that helped us to scale in terms of word of mouth. Now, when we are scaling more and more, where we want to know more, we wanted to see, like for example, our return customers is between 70 to 75%. But being such a niche brand, I want to capture the whole 100%, right? So this and the data that we get through marketing tech products that we have now embedded into our system, day to day they are understanding what the consumer actually wants, right? Then that opens up our avenue of even calling them up and having a chat with them to understand more in depth about, because technology cannot answer a lot of stuff. Like also we are the only guys I think on a DTC brand that has always said no chatbots, because there's so much of customization in our requirement, and plus a chatbot limits or does not, like a customer comes with a need. A chatbot will not be able to answer a lot of his queries. A person or a human interface on the other side will be able to answer that many questions, right? So we have the way we have seen Martech and all, whatever we call it as, we've gone in phases. Whatever phase we are in, we have just limited the technology that fulfills that particular need. So we've not gone into too much of tech or futuristic tech or like AI and all, because that is not what we require right now, right? Our focus has been that you build products for the consumer's need, and if it's good, they will spread, they will spread the word out, and you'll keep scaling.
So I believe, you do a lot of offshore business as well, right? Like, so from that perspective, do you have like physical teams, in different countries who are like feet on street, going around promoting your products? Or is it really, the use of technology for these kind of avenues in these kind of different countries?
So we recently opened or a year back, we opened up our warehouse in Singapore. And that particular team, so every team has been working differently, right? So in India, we have relied more on, going down to the Gurdwara level and getting our customers, or relying heavily on word of mouth. So the first phase one, which was when we started in 2016 to 2018, was purely, we don't even, or till date, till 2022, I didn't think we spent more than a lakh and a half for the last 7 years or 6 years on marketing, right? It was purely on word of mouth. So we said, okay, let's build the right product. Once that happens, everything will be taken care. Singapore is now working in a very different manner. It's more community driven, right? They are working very closely with the Gurdwaras and the youth out there, trying to help them with, explaining the faith, explaining how to groom. Grooming is a subject which was never there in our, as taught, whatever our fathers taught us, we learned that. But, the way you style your turban, the way you take care of your beard. Right now, we are building a lot of content now to actually tell people that how do you take care of the beard, right? They've got such rough beards that even like if I tell the customer, okay, now you comb your beard, it's very difficult for them because they've never heard about conditioning the beard, right? So this is the kind of investments that we are doing right now. Rather than going on feet on street, I think a lot of things is happening through content. A lot of things is happening through our interactions at the Gurdwaras, right? So that has been our growth.
That's quite an innovative spin, I would say, building an entire community, considering you're in such a niche market, right? And I'm sure like the youth is very tech savvy, so that's where it comes in. But when it comes to probably people who are not tech savvy, maybe that's how you can sort of, pull in the crowd through these kind of community building initiatives, right? So, Lakhbir, coming to you, we all know Killer, and, it's quite a legacy brand. And I think we all have at some point been users of the brand as well, right? So, just wanted to understand from your perspective, like post-COVID, there has been such a digital transformation, and most legacy brands were sort of pushed to go a little bit towards the digital way in order to create that seamless experience for the consumer. Because today the consumer is on different channels, and they have those kind of expectations where they like the brand to be on different channels, right? So that's why there's this whole focus on omni-channel marketing. And so I wanted to understand from you, of course, what are you carrying out today in terms of your digital transformation? And just sort of like innovative marketing strategies that you are also using offline in order to sort of create that brand presence, right? Considering it's such a competitive landscape today.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I come from a little different background, which Harshit Ji was mentioning. We are more into the offline model. We sell close to, as a company, we sell close to 1 crore garments in a year, and out of which 92% revenues come only from offline. But you rightly mentioned that the current youth, 80% of the youth is seeing the product online first, then he comes to offline. So it's very important for us to make the garment, to make that visual appeal attractive, to bring him to offline stores. So with us as a brand, as a company, we are mainly into brick and mortar system, though we are the second largest player on Flipkart. We claim ourselves as the second largest denim seller brand in India. But yes, post-COVID things has changed. The way consumer is interacting, we remember those days when trial rooms were empty. Because of that, the consumers were, not so positive to use the washroom or use the trial garments. But yes, the digital interaction has increased more. But the way we have invested digitally to come closer to the consumer is through CRM. So with us, the one tool of, when we say the technology is the CRM, when we go more closer to the consumer, of course, taking all the personal detail, be it the date of birth, the anniversary is little tough, but when your interaction with consumer is little more than only a transactional association, then he values that, the customer values that. And fortunately, we are into the industry where we transact with the consumer only with the happy mood. So with us, it's more of a mood buying, less of a need buying. So apparel, casual, interacting with youth, making look them more fashionable is more about the mood-centric buying. So yes, when in our CRM program, we invest heavily to go closer to the consumer, to understand his taste, because as Singh Saab rightly mentioned, we invest because basically I'm blend of both. When he talks about offline, online, and he talks more of product, because selling bottom wear in India is more of until unless you don't have a expertise, because customer do not compromise with the fit. He is going to carry that garment for more than 8 hours on his body in different posture. So we give first preference to that comfort. So we invest heavily in that until and unless you don't interact with the consumer either offline or online to understand where your product stands in terms of washes, in terms of fit. Like we were the first to introduce ankle length fit in India. Because when we introduce any product offline, there was a technology on the store. We have a decent exposure of close to 285 standalone store and 238 K-launch store, which is another vertical from Keval Kiran. So there was a technology on the store that consumer going and trying that denim, and he has a feedback that, okay, I was comfortable on a hip area, the opening was fine, the waistline was okay.
So this feedback is taken essentially on an app, or do you
It was
have
on
like
an
a
app.
system?
It was on an app.
I
It was
understand.
configured with the CRM. Then we were actually tracing that, okay, this garment trial, how much was the success ratio? In case if this product is actually offered to the consumer, then will he buy that or not?
Right.
So we invest heavily on the product development through the online technology. That's how we are into this.
I understand. Great. COVID has luckily surpassed us, but it seems like there are going to be several waves, from what WHO is telling us, right? So I think, like, as a brand, I'm sure, like, now more so, everyone's more conscious about being prepared, for these kind of calamities that would probably hit us in that sense, right? So just from that perspective, during COVID, there were a lot of shops that had to shut, unfortunately, and people were finding innovative ways to reach out to their consumers, right? So if you can give us an example, considering you've been an offline store mostly, of something innovative that you did to connect with your consumer, during COVID times to make sure that they would be loyal to the brand in a way.
Interesting question. I may be the exceptional in the industry. COVID basically हमारे लिए वरदान type था. We had 32 stores before COVID, as I said, standalone stores. Earlier, brand was focusing, the group was focusing more on K-Launch, which is the retail vertical where we sell all the 6 brands of Keval Kiran under one roof. The focus was to go more expertise on one brand. So from 32 to 285 stores standalone happened post-COVID. So when we were interacting with the consumer, apart from that WhatsApp calling, video calling, talking to the consumer, sending him garments to his homes for the trial so that he can feel the garment at his place rather than, avoiding that too many touch points or the retail counter, encouraging the digital payment through his. So we burn more calories on the field while going closer to the consumer. That's where consumers appreciated that approach. So there was a feedback because we as I said, we are the second largest brand in Indian industry. We are the biggest brand in multi-branded outlet in India. Killer, otherwise Levi's is the #1 brand in the industry. Killer is the largest brand in multi-branded outlet of the format. So there was a feedback from the multi-branded shop owners during COVID period that you guys are working so hard. वो कहते हैं ना हिंदी में कि ओवर में बॉल्स 6 ही हैं, आपको 36 रन बनाने हैं, आपको 11 रन बनाने हैं, ये चॉइस आपकी है. So the trade appreciated because we were going more closer to the consumer. So they said that why not to deliver the similar experience in a standalone store where talking, eating, drinking, speaking only killer. So that was the time post-COVID, the same out of the 285 investors, 250 are the same partners who are already associating it as a multi-branded retailer. So they showed confidence that, okay, this group is going more closure, talking more, taking care for more customers' interest, coming up with the more innovative product line. So post-COVID, that happened that those guys showed interest and they invested in brand stores, standalone stores. Out of the 285, 250 are run by those partners. So that's, I think COVID gave us, as we normally see, कि दो तरह के लोग थे, एक ने weight gain किया, एक ने weight reduce किया during COVID. नहीं, so I mean to say that that type of. So I think we took it in a different way during COVID when it is coming closer to consumer, taking more. I remember conducting 6 to 7 Zoom interviews, Zoom calls with my end consumer through CRM when we saw that, okay, these are the top 50 buyers of Ranchi, these are the top 50 buyers of say Bhubaneswar or top 50 of Chandigarh. So then we start talking about how are you spending your day, what is, because selling bottom wear after COVID when there was a work from home culture, selling top wear was comparatively easy because when you are on digital, so you see only the upper part. But selling bottom line, offering, we increased our product base more into the knitwear because people wanted to more of a relaxed way. When you go closer to your consumer, understanding their needs, of course through digital platform, through lots of survey of Zoho or Monkey survey. So those things actually helped us and there was a courage in the team कि okay, अब आगे और बढ़ते हैं और आगे लेके चलते हैं. So that's post-COVID, our CGR is around 32% every year.
Right.
So that's how they
So
think.
that's a very interesting insight, and it's good to know that despite the whole digital noise, there are brands like you are still opening like brick and mortar stores, and that to 294 in number. So that's an interesting take. Harshit, coming to you, recently, like if you see about like 2-3 years ago, Flipkart came out with a very innovative way of interacting with their consumers before their Big Billion Day. They came up with something called the Haggle Bot, that before the Big Billion Day, you can sort of negotiate, like the discounts for your products through this bot. And that's the kind of product, like depending on your bid, you can get that kind of discount on your product, right? So I thought that was something really, really innovative. They found a different way of actually interacting with their consumers just before the sale was going to hit. So, just from your perspective, are there any examples of any sort of innovative marketing strategies that you've done that has made you like completely stand out from the crowd and the noise that's happening?
Yeah, like first of all, I anyways Big Billion Days are anyways very much highly discounted. मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि और bot कितना discount देगा. Ask the brands like us. So, anyways, I think yes. We at like if I give you an example of FREECULTR, so our category, let's say we do essentials, like so innerwear, like all these ideas are actually, so I don't know, there are a lot of brands and these are traditional ideas from China, right. Like live commerce, people like, I'll give you an example. There is a news reader in China, I mean, fairly known across China and other global countries. She just reads news which happened one day before, right? All the news happened one day before. But she's so influential. Like, brands follow her, reach out to her, just they want she wearing her, she wearing the brands, let's say clothing, slippers, even watches, blah, blah, blah. Like, because she, in a very interesting way, she reads the news, right? I mean, very interesting way. So I think that is something which is the next step in India, which is going to come. So like I say, like again, it's in the beta version for FREECULTR. Like what Lenskart did, Like, you know,
Would you say this is aligned to influencer marketing, or would you say like having your own influencers in the company?
so I think since, you know, community building is fairly important, like, and I think these days India में consumers को पता चल गया है कि real influencers बहुत कम होते हैं. I mean, with no offense, but influencers do paid activities, right? But community building is the new era, which is actually helping brands like us, because वो सच बोलते हैं. Community कभी, like, if you have a friend, or I mean, probably they won't lie about, let's say, the product, what he also talked about, कि product quality or anything. So community building brands के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा important हो गई है. And these things, like I was saying, Lenskart did their, you know, on their app, you try the glass, you know, it'll show how it looks like, you know, looks on you and stuff like that. I mean, since we are into innerwear category, but anyways, we are also trying something like that.
Right.
It'll be a very private window stuff on the application. We're coming up with an application which probably will make you actually see how an innerwear will also look on you, right?
Okay, interesting.
So that's something. So it's a very private thing. I see people laughing, but I think that's something which, I mean, it's a new age thing.
Absolutely.
If it's private enough, then I think people should kind of try it out.
Yeah. So, you know, in your kind of category, right? Like, I think there's a lot of course, like people are open to these kind of categories because it is a bare essential, right? But there's also like a lot of like taboo around talking about this openly in a way, like to either your friends or family. I wouldn't say taboo, but people shy away quite often from talking about this, right? So, are there any sort of like educative initiatives that you've taken for people in order for them to?
We spend most of our marketing budget in just educating the consumer that why this underwear is better than the underwear what you're wearing.
Absolutely.
That's very much required. Like for jeans, fit के लिए, like if I wear particular brand, अगर उसका एक fit समझ आ गया तो शायद मैं 5 साल वही पहनूंगा. Same with the innerwear as well. And like innerwear is very, you know, it's actually it's closest to you, right? And irrespective of the gender, I think that is something people do also shy away, saying ki. But these days, with the help of social media, with the help of influencers, content, creatives, you know, the way the creatives are being made on social ads and everything, people have started talking about, you know what, and like, you know, I mean, they are opening up.
Yeah.
It's not an hidden gem anymore.
Yeah.
So
Again, coming to your niche brand, right? There's a lot to do with trust building with the consumer, right? So just in terms of your, like, you know, the messaging, the kind of content that you put out, like, how are you being able to effectively build that trust apart from the community building activities that you do?
So I think online, like, जैसे गाड़ी खरीदते हैं, post sale services is something which is very important. Even for us, when you are actually selling, like he said कि bottom wear बेचना बहुत मुश्किल है, inner bottom बेचना और मुश्किल है. So right, so I think we heavily invest on once the consumer has received the package. So like Charanjeev, he was saying कि no chatbots, but लोगों से बात करना and everything. So we have a team of about 12 people in the CRM team who will just talk about the product. Even so, we do a lot of A/B cart, you know, conversions happening from the CRM team. If let's say, because a lot of people, like, since it's innerwear, people do have resistance कि अच्छा ये pinch तो नहीं करेगा, इसका waistband में issue तो नहीं आएगा, fabric कैसे? Because we deal with different fabric. Like we have an innovative fabric which is a lot of properties I don't want to talk about here, but still. So हम लोग एक CRM team से बहुत ज़्यादा invest उनमें करते हैं, especially post the consumer has kind of, you know, ordered it, once they have received the product, like after like 4-5 days, very personalized call goes. I do calls once a week. I do almost like Saturday or Sunday, I do almost like 15 odd calls to the consumers. That is something which is very important. वहाँ पर अगर नहीं invest होएगा, because this category is such wherein if a consumer doesn't like it at once, they will not come back for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interesting.
Why don't you
Yeah, I completely agree with what Harshit ji said, that consumers don't change their inner brand frequently. So rigidity, so loyalty towards it. Absolutely right. And coming back to that community building, yes, if you see Killer, the tagline is, "This is us." So we strongly invest in that part when we say every season we create one theme, be it like we did Beyond Blue, we did Biker Than Jeans, where we tied up with Royal Enfield Group, sponsoring their events, going closer to them, building that community. So every season. So I think that works better rather than talking individual as a consumer or going.
I think that was a very interesting take, right? With Royal Enfield, there's always this sense of empowerment, and that's when you sort of join hands with Royal Enfield. I can imagine the kind of messaging that must have also gone out from Killer, you know. Charanjeev, over to you. I think you had something to add, and I also have a question for you.
So, when you're talking about community building, trust, and all, what we are doing at Singh Styled today is that the first thing is, as a founder, so D2C, being a D2C brand, what is the plus point of being a D2C brand? Is that the founders are right at the forefront, right? People know, like, if you're talking about Paytm, you know, okay, Vijay Shekhar Sharma. If you're talking today, Singh Styled, like my customer group, they know, okay, there's Charanjeev. So the new thing that, or for the last 1.5 years that we have started, is that we started using social media as a very strong tool for our marketing or building trust. And how we are doing that is through like an Instagram. Like every Sunday we say, "Chalo, today you ask us a lot of questions," right? And people come back and they come to us and they ask, okay, they have beard issues. 12-year-old boys, they want to use beard oils to grow their beard.
Wow,
And
that's
then,
interesting.
yeah, so when I start coming and I start talking that, starting giving logical answers, that with trust ban jata, that, okay, what he's talking is logical. Like a 12-year-old boy will never grow a beard even if I drink that urea also.
Yeah.
Right? So it's but other brands may not be talking about it. But we have been on the forefront by saying, this is a product, this is built for this particular logic and this particular customer group, and only those are allowed to use that. You have the money, please go ahead and buy it, but it may not help you, right? So that's helped in building that one trust. And in doing so, what's happened is slowly and steadily, a lot of customers who did not find avenues to find answers started writing, mails to us or mails to Charanjeev. Like, I'll go to a support, and then my support team will start sending it to me that reply this to him. Getting patches.
But how do you manage this at scale? I understand, like, today if you have, say, close to about 10,000, 20,000 consumers, it's easy to probably manually reply to each email, right?
So
Like, but then,
most of the questions are very, very similar.
okay.
Okay. So to give you a stat, out of 100 mails, there would be around 80 mails only related to beard growth. मेरे को एक लंबी दाढ़ी चाहिए, right? चाहे वो 12 साल का बच्चा है या he is around 40-45-year-old guy, which is not possible. So the answers are pretty much the same.
Okay.
So it's just cut, copy, paste, and push, right? If there are certain areas where we feel like no, we need to answer him, or we actually even get dermatologists or doctors onto the phone call, or like we get them on the phone to interact with the customer so that the right answer goes to the customer.
Absolutely.
So that's built a lot of strength in the brand. That now when we talk about community, Singh Styled is already a community brand. We didn't have to go and build it. The only thing which we had to do was to build the trust. Right. And these are the things which we have started saying, simple, logical steps, that what my customer, where he was not getting answers, can we reply them, and can we reply them with logic, so that he can go and bet it and say, yeah, this is right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, just from that perspective, there are, like, I think with creativity, you need to also strike a balance in that sense, right? Because at the end of the day, you also have like certain targets to meet, you have like that ROI in place. So how do you have that balance between like actually going all guns on creativity versus like actually having some sort of, productive goal in the beam?
So when you're saying about creativity, you're talking about, okay, at Singh Styled, what we see is that what is the amount of spend that we do and what is the to acquire a customer, and once the customer comes in, how long is going to be with us. So when other brands, they talk about lifetime value of a customer, my lifetime of a value of a customer is right from the day to day till right up to his death.
Yeah.
Right? So he needs beard, he needs beard care products. He comes to Singh Style. When he needs turbans, he comes to Singh Style. There are other verticals that we are building specifically which will take care of the wardrobe. For that also, he'll come to Singh Style. So if he's not moving away from us. So that's how we balance it out, right? Wherein we are saying that invest into tangible stuff, go fast, test it out, fail fast, and then, or start talking to the customer and ask him what are the specific problems that he's facing and build those products and then, push into the market.
Right. So in your case, I understand, there is a community of people who have that kind of brand affinity today because you're probably like very, very niche in the market and there are very few players in the market, right? But as the whole like sort of D2C game is growing today and people are like coming up with new stores online or offline in that sense, like to have that competitive advantage, since you already have that first mover, right? What do you see like for yourself in the next 5 years to have that competitive advantage?
The only competitive advantage that Singh Style will always have is that the focus that we have on building the right products.
Absolutely.
Right.
Product first.
See, end of the day, you invest heavily into ad tech, Martech, platforms, whatever you do. What you're selling end of day is a trusted product. I always say that the first time the customer will buy from you, he's an investor in you. He doesn't know your product. He doesn't know the smell, the texture of your product. He's just believing in you, what you have built, right? And if you build the product right, he will always stick around with you, and that's going to be throughout the length and breadth of Singh Style. So the future also is that whatever products that we are creating need to be logical, need to be value, and based on that value is the pricing that we work on.
Absolutely. Harshit, coming to you, similar question, like where do you draw the boundary between creativity and actually having those measurable outcomes that you would want in your company?
In terms of creativity, like I said, we have to heavily build content, creative ideas and everything around how this product is different from what you're wearing. But down the line, like at the back of our mind, we know a fact, like the new audience, the new consumerism is all about trying new brands, giving a try to a newer brands with a similar product, or let's say there are times when a consumer, let's say for FREECULTR, they tells us, I actually do not want to wear what my father is wearing, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean because in our space there is a very strong generic brand like who's ruling the market from last almost 25 plus years. So, but there, like, we differentiate with the focus on how creative we are showing our products, how creatively we are showing our products, how creatively we are moving out our content, and how creatively we are trying to acquire a new consumer. Because like I said, the new consumer wants to try new things. And it's gonna stay. Like all these Gen Z, Gen Y, all these audiences, like all these consumers will, I mean, there'll be a time, and it has already started, they will not prefer wearing old brands, for sure.
Absolutely. So, in the interest of time, just a few words from maybe all of you to sort of give some advice to the new entrants who are coming up with niche products in the market or already have been in the market and are looking at the digital front and transformation of things. Maybe we can start from you, Harshit, on this.
I think two things. One thing, I think he's already said, fail fast. किसी चीज पे linger on करने को कोई फायदा नहीं है. To be honest, I think you have to fail fast and kind of try newer things. Second thing is like the consumer is a king. बहुत पुरानी कहावत, and that stays. The closer you will be with your consumer, and yes, जब थोड़ा सा स्केल आ जाता है थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है, but there are tools, there are technologies which can help you be as close as possible to your consumer, because if you understand the pain of the consumer, trust you me, पैसे की कोई वैल्यू नहीं आ जाती है फिर. Like if they like it, they will spend the money whatever you're asking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
I think I agree with Harshit on this. I will say the shift from transactional relationship to caring relationship, not only a monetary transaction, you are my consumer, you are my customer, giving me money and exchanging with the product, going closer to him, understanding his needs, shift from brain to brain talk to heart talk. I think that's what we Indian want. Of course, there's a challenge of how to attract, invite, retain this Gen Z customer. We were also facing the similar thing. Now, yesterday only we launched our junior killer range, which is for 4 years to 14 years. We wanted to interact with the consumers on his little early age, from college to school. So we wanted to go closer. We want to make him ready to buy a killer when he at a much earlier age. But that's again a very challenging thing, because in kids wear खरीदता बच्चा है, डिसाइड कोई और करता है. आपको ये नहीं पता डिजिटल मार्केटिंग में मदर को दिखाऊं या बच्चे को दिखाऊं. बच्चा 10 साल का बच्चा मोबाइल पे कुछ और कहीं देखता है, बट उसकी मदर कहीं और देखती है. डिसाइड मदर करती है, पहनता बच्चा है. एंड इन दैट सैंडविच द ब्रांड इज देयर. व्हेन चाइल्ड सेज कि मम्मा मुझे अच्छा लगता है, एंड मदर सेज कि नहीं ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये छोटा है, तुम बड़े हो जाओगे, फिट नहीं आएगा, ब्ला ब्ला. So this is what we are doing for the last 6 months when we are doing a brainstorming before launching this series. So that's little interesting.
Charanjeev, you've been able to crack the code on actually bringing a great niche product that, you know, it actually like empowers an entire community. So maybe some words from you on some advice for the new entrants in this category or other categories.
I say that you venture into any whatever you're building. If you can figure out a need, don't go looking at the West, or understand consumer India today. A lot of the big brands like Paris and all these brands were built because they understood consumer India, right? So once you understand consumer India or even consumer globally, and you build products specifically for the need. Don't create wants and desires. First, fulfill the need. If you can fulfill the need, then you can cross-sell a lot of wants and desires to them. All right? And then Martech, all these technology are there to support you. But at the core level, when you're beginning, always remember one thing, that what you're building, right? You're building products. You should build products which is trustworthy, which does not require too much of heavy marketing. The first user should become your brand ambassador. Like for example, when we are talking about influencers today, Singh Style has a lot of these videos going on, and I suddenly start asking my social media team, कहाँ से आपने, मैंने तो इनको पैसे नहीं दिए. So बोला नहीं सर, ये तो उन्होंने खुद से ही वीडियो बना दिया. Right? So when your customers themselves become your influencers, that's what will take you from a brand which was a good brand to a great brand, right? And the last part which I would always tell is that be vocal to your customers. Like if you have done anything wrong, have the strength to go forward and say I'm sorry, and
Build that authenticity,
yeah, so that
with the
because
customer.
at the end of the day they are family. Like that's how Singh Style. They don't say if you go into our DMs today, even Sumit is there sitting. Sumit replies to a lot of our DMs, and they will always say Virji because they think that the person sitting on the next side talking to them is Charanjeev.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So
create that personal connect.
you have to have a personal connect. You have to have this Martech and all. I think there should be another called Emotech, emotional tech. You know, because that's the core of relation tech. When I ask कुछ सुना नहीं है ये, all businesses, every service, Killer Jeans. By the way, my brother-in-law is a big Killer Jeans fan. So, but all of this has happened is because brands have built that trust, right? And they have built products which is fulfilling that money that you're taking out. To give you one more last, I'll just going to close this. Our first two investors, and when we raised our money, we didn't go to any investor. It came through our own customers. Right? They said, yeah, जब भी तेरे online store पे आओ तो ये खाली होती है दुकान. So start scaling it. So right, so customers when they start believing what you're doing, they will push you, and then you don't need to do too much.
Absolutely. Just to add to your point, considering we are also enablers in the space, right? I think understanding the insights and personalizing the experience for your consumer is kind of like a byproduct of having that emotional intelligence about your consumer, right? Maybe not directly, but also indirectly. So just wanted to add to that point, and thank you so much for all your insights. I think it's been quite interesting, and it's good to see that India is in the hands of some really interesting brands and people who've come up with some innovative ideas. I'd just like to open up the forum to any of the questions from the audience in case anyone would like to ask a question, please. Any questions from the audience, or then we can just wrap up accordingly? Sure. Could you please pass the mic to her? Thank you.
He'll give.
Hello, everyone.
Yep.
Hello, am I audible? Okay, great. So, as I understand, all the talks that we are talking, personalization is one of the main thing to make a connect with any customers, basically. So, how technology help you, other than the social media and the technology that you're using to sell the product? Other than that, how you can make those personalization, products and connect with the customers.
Very interesting question. With us, as Singh Sir was saying, that he has a long span of interacting with the consumers. With us, it's the same, but the consumer body's size, his taste, his preference keeps on changing with the age. A young man of 20 years will have a ankle fit or skinny fit as a preference versus a man of 50 years with the comfort fit. So here where technology comes, when the CRM, in this CRM, when you come to know that this guy was buying this fit in this size, at this price, at this age, the same consumer, if I say Mr. Prashant Sharma was my consumer in Chandigarh, buying 28 waist or 30 waist in skinny fit, the same guy has shifted to Chennai because he's working with a bank, and after 10 years he's shifting to buy, he has moved from ankle to slim, from slim to comfort fit. So then you come to know that, okay, through your CRM, my age customer segment is this is my best selling size, this is my best selling fit. Then you come to know that, okay, like in case of North is the only region where consumers want to buy bootcut denims. In other rest of India, it's on a very lower side. But when you start seeing that trend in that your CRM, in your technology, when you see that, okay, what is the fresh sell-through? By keeping 100 garments, how many you are able to sell within the span of 30 days? Here the technology comes because you are sitting in head office, you can just create a good product, but what actually action is happening on the floor you will be able to see only through digital way. And then the way when you interact with your consumer, then he gives you that. So that's the way we want to retain that consumer. It generally said that you spend 5 times more to attract a new consumer than retaining the existing one. So I think retaining the existing one is very, very important. That's where the technology comes in.
I think this also depends on sector to sector. Like fashion relies heavily on this, but something when you come to cosmetics and all, I think somebody there was a brand that had said, "Yeah, you tell me what shampoo and I will create." When you sit inside, when I'm sitting at the factory, I know how much of pain it takes to just create one. I can't do one fulfilling of a bottle. So that promise is a wrong promise, right? So I think when you're saying personalization also, like in our case, personalization is that is about the you give them a range of stuff which helps them to personalize for themselves, right? You just keep on listening to your customers and what else can we do? Like this, the designer turban कभी किसी ने बनाया नहीं है, right? There were a few customers who came to us and we said, हाँ ठीक है, let's experiment with this. If it's going to fail, how much is going to fail to, right? अगर चला तो चला, नहीं चला तो छोड़ देंगे, आगे बढ़ेंगे. But personalization to us or to me is every sector has its own definition when it comes to personalization, right?
Harshit, maybe some inputs from your end as well.
Yeah, I'll give you an example from FREECULTR. Like we even know with the help of a tool, like how many. So we have a database of about over 500,000 customers as of now. हमें ये पता है टूल से कि हमारे कितने ऐसे कस्टमर्स हैं, एग्जैक्ट नंबर्स, वो सिर्फ वीकेंड पे शॉपिंग करते हैं, राइट? वी डू नॉट वेस्ट मनी on marketing or any other thing. Even we don't even send anything to them other than Saturday, Sunday. Even if we are launching a new product, we segregate them. We send that only on a weekend. And this is how the data tells you when you go deep and deeper. That's where there are a lot of tools, but there are some premium tools. तो वो चीज़ हेल्प होती है. I mean that's how the tools help. In otherwise I 5 लाख 6 लाख customers में आप नहीं देख पाओगे, नहीं पता कर पाओगे. But there are tools who tells you the trends कि पिछले अगर 15 परचेजेस करी हैं तो वो या सैटरडे है संडे ही है. So that's how the tool helps.
Great. Thank you so much, Harshit, and thank you everybody for your time. I think it's been quite an engaging conversation, and we can give 10 minutes back for lunch to the audience. So thank you so much for sticking with us as well. Thank you.